I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice. Let us begin. You're scared to fail, so you don't even start. You dream about changing careers, starting the project, moving forward on the idea that's been burning inside you for years. You imagine the life you'd have if you just went for it. But when it comes time to take the first step, fear grips you. And the cost of that waiting is piling up. Every time you back away, a little more confidence drains out of you. You scroll through your phone and watch others doing what you want to do, building businesses, sharing their art, stepping into relationships, living fully. And you feel both inspired and ashamed. Inspired because you want that freedom too. Ashamed because deep down, you know the only thing holding you back isn't lack of talent, time, or resources. It's fear. That's why you're here. Because this video is going to help you break that cycle. In the next few minutes, we're going to name exactly why fear of failure has kept you frozen. And more importantly, how to move anyway. You'll learn why your fear isn't proof that you're broken. It's proof that your nervous system has been trying to protect you. You'll discover a daily practice to gently retrain yourself to act, even when fear is loud. And you'll see how presence, not perfection, is the key to finally moving forward. If you've ever told yourself, "I'll start when I'm not afraid," this talk will show you why that moment will never come, and why you don't need it to. Here's the truth. Fear of failure isn't laziness. It's a survival reflex. Your body remembers. Every time you took a risk and got burned. Every time you were judged or criticized. Every time you tried and it didn't work. So now it steps in, flooding you with doubt before you even begin. It thinks it's keeping you safe, but in reality, it's keeping you small. But here's the shift. You don't need to wait for fear to disappear. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment when you finally feel ready. You only need to learn how to move anyway, with fear still present. And that's exactly what we're going to uncover together. Because in the next section, I'll show you the real source of your fear of failure and why it's been running your life without you realizing it. Once you see where it began, you'll understand why it feels so powerful and why it no longer has to control you. Fear of failure feels like a flaw. You tell yourself you should be braver, stronger, more disciplined. But the truth is, it isn't weakness that keeps you from starting. It's survival. Somewhere in your past, you learned that failure wasn't just a stumble, it was a wound. Maybe a teacher embarrassed you in front of the class. Maybe a parent scolded you for not being perfect. Maybe you took a risk, poured yourself into something, and got burned. And your body remembered. So now, every time you stand at the edge of something new, your nervous system pulls the brakes. It floods you with what-ifs. What if I'm not good enough? What if I waste my time? What if I try and prove to myself that I'll never succeed? It feels like hesitation. But what's really happening is your body trying to keep you safe from pain it thinks is inevitable. That's why it feels impossible to start. It's not because you're lazy. It's because you've been carrying the weight of old criticism and rejection. Your brain is running an ancient program. If I don't try, I can't fail. And if I can't fail, I can't be hurt. The logic is flawless and completely destructive. Because avoiding failure also avoids life. Every day you wait for fear to disappear, your world gets smaller. The dreams that could light you up stay trapped in the realm of someday. And the worst part? The longer you avoid starting, the more you convince yourself that you don't have what it takes. Not because it's true, but because you've never given yourself the chance to prove otherwise. So let's reframe. Fear of failure is not a personal defect. It's your body's misguided attempt to protect you. And once you see that, you stop shaming yourself for being scared and start learning how to move with fear instead of waiting for it to vanish. Because here's the shift. You don't need to erase fear. You need to retrain your body to feel safe, taking small steps even while fear is present. And that begins with one simple daily practice. A ritual that proves to your nervous system that action doesn't equal danger. Keep watching, because in the next section, I'll show you exactly how to do it. You've seen why fear of failure feels so heavy. Your nervous system thinks it's protecting you. So the question now is, how do you retrain it? How do you show your body that action isn't a threat? The answer isn't in giant leaps. It's in a small daily practice that proves again and again you can move even when you're afraid. Here's the ritual. Each morning, before the noise of the world floods in, sit quietly with a pen and a piece of paper. Place your hand over your heart. Take one slow breath in and write down a single step you can take today. Not 10 steps, not a massive overhaul, just one. It could be as simple as sending an email you've been avoiding, taking a 10-minute walk, or writing a single paragraph of that book you've been putting off. Then, say it out loud. Today, I will do this. Notice the weight of your own words. Feel the warmth of your hand grounding you. Let your body register that you've made a promise. And here's the key. You keep it. Not because it's big, because it's yours. Why such a small step? Because your nervous system doesn't trust big promises yet. You've broken too many with yourself before. Not out of failure, but out of fear. So we rebuild slowly. Each time you keep a small vow, you teach your body, I can start. I can follow through. Nothing bad happened. I'm safe. And with repetition, that memory grows stronger than the fear. Over time, these small steps become a chain. They build momentum. They create evidence you can no longer deny. You can act, even when afraid. And you'll notice the difference. The panic before starting quiets. The shame after delaying fades. You begin to trust that you don't need to feel ready. You just need to begin. But here's the truth. The ritual alone won't save you. Because there will still be days the fear feels louder than the vow. Days when you'll want to rip up the paper, when the voice says, don't bother, you'll fail anyway. And that's why the next piece matters even more. Presence. In the next section, I'll show you how to meet the fear itself. Not by fighting it, but by staying calm in its grip until you realize it doesn't control you anymore. Even with your daily ritual, fear will still show up. You'll sit down to send that email or take that step, and your chest will tighten. Your mind will start flooding with all the ways this could go wrong. The voice will whisper, stop. You're not ready. You'll embarrass yourself. In the past, that voice won. It froze you in place. But here's the shift. This time, you don't need the fear to go away. You only need to meet it with presence. Presence is the part of you that watches without panic. It doesn't argue with fear or try to silence it. It simply says, I see you, and I'm moving anyway. That's all. Here's how you practice it. When fear spikes, stop for one breath. Feel your feet pressing against the ground. Notice the inhale filling your chest and the exhale releasing it. Place your hand over your heart if you can, and say silently, this is fear, not danger. You don't try to push the fear away. You let it sit beside you, and then you act. Because the truth is, fear can ride with you, but it doesn't get to drive anymore. Each time you act in the presence of fear, you teach your nervous system a new lesson. I can feel this and still move. And slowly, the grip loosens. What you'll notice is that the more often you practice this, the less terrifying fear becomes. It won't vanish, but it won't paralyze you either. It becomes background noise, A hum you no longer mistake for a stop sign. And with that, your world expands again. This is the turning point. You no longer wait to feel brave. You step forward as you are, afraid and moving anyway. And with each step, you prove the voice wrong. But presence is only powerful if you carry it forward. In the next section, we'll seal it all together: the ritual, the presence, and the future self you're about to become. Stay with me, because the return is where you stop living afraid of failure and start living as the one who moves anyway. You've seen the pattern. Fear of failure has kept you frozen, convincing you that if you don't start, you can't fail. But now you know the truth. Not starting is its own kind of failure, the kind that eats your confidence and shrinks your world day after day. And you've learned how to stop letting that fear dictate your life. You begin each morning with a single step, written down and spoken as a promise. Not a grand plan, not a leap so big it terrifies your body into shutting down. Just one clear step you can actually take. And when the fear rises, as it always does, you meet it with presence, a steady breath, a calm awareness, a whisper to yourself: this is fear, not danger. I can move anyway. At first, these small acts may feel insignificant, but the power is in the repetition. With every kept promise, you build evidence that you are no longer ruled by fear. With every breath taken in presence, you show your nervous system that discomfort is not disaster. And slowly, you start to trust yourself again, not as someone who waits for courage, but as someone who moves with it. And here's what shifts. You stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start asking, "What if I don't even try?" You realize the cost of inaction is far heavier than the sting of a mistake. Because failure teaches, it shapes, it moves you forward. But avoidance only keeps you trapped in a life you've already outgrown. So you walk forward now, not waiting to feel ready, not bargaining with fear, but carrying it as a companion that no longer decides for you. You begin to feel the freedom of acting in alignment with your truth, even when your heart races. You see the dreams you once thought impossible inch closer, not because fear vanished, but because you did not. This is your return. You don't have to stop fearing failure. You just have to stop letting it choose for you. You did not find me by accident. Just as in your dreams, where every face you meet is your own reflection, this meeting was always waiting to happen. I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice, the part of you that watches behind the thoughts, behind the noise. You have searched in many places, books, teachers, voices outside you. But here, you are not being taught. You are remembering. If these words stir something familiar, then allow yourself to return. Subscribe. Follow. Not to follow me, but to continue this conversation with yourself. Each time you return here, you draw closer to the reunion already unfolding inside you. We have only just begun.